This is the Power Element Podcast, bonus episode. I'm producer Paul. Let's get right to it. My special guest today is Megan Berry. Megan is a sales rep for Klein Tools. Megan is an absolute professional. She comes in the studio and kills it. This is a great episode. All right, let me get to the promotional partners, and then we'll get to the show. This will be a chopped up version of our ads. Here we go. Premier sponsor, obviously, Klein Tools. You can check them out at Klein_Tools. Klein is generous enough. They sponsor a giveaway specifically for this podcast. Details are in the show. You're going to have to stick around. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but you're not going to want to miss this giveaway. Next up, Jilco. You can find them at Jilco Safety. Working Athlete. Use promo code POWERELEMENT to save yourself 20% off at checkout. You can find them on Instagram at Working Athlete. Co Eyewear for all your ANSI 87 needs. Use promo code POWERELEMENT to save yourself 15% off at checkout. Find them on Instagram at Co Eyewear. Here we go. Next up, Buckingham Manufacturing. You can find them on Instagram at Buckingham_MFG. I want to thank our Rodeo partners, Area. You can find them at Area at Work on Instagram. At Dragonwear_FR. Super generous. Love the hoodie. Good stuff. All right. Daniel Sanchez provides the music. I'll put his details in the show notes. Daniel is an absolute beast. Thanks, Daniel. All right. Special thank you to Lineman Mama and High Voltage Commando. Last but not least, as always, thank you to the entire Sturge Electric California workforce. Without you, this podcast would not be possible. All right. Let's get to the show. Megan Berry, Klein Tools, bonus episode, the Power Element Podcast. Enjoy the show. The Power Element Podcast, bonus episode. I'm producer Paul. Let's go. All right, you heard me right. Bonus episode. What does that mean? Nothing for you guys. I'm going to change the format just a touch. You're not going to even notice it. Bonus episode. I want to bring more episodes to the table. Keep it new, keep it hip, keep it fun, keep it trendy. Keep the conversations rolling. Speaking of conversations, let's get into it. Megan Berry from Klein Tools. Megan, how we doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Paul. I'm excited.
You flew in today?
Yeah, happy to be in California. I wish it was a little cooler, but I'll make do.
You came at a perfect time. I'm being sarcastic. There's a heat wave going on this week, so I'm sorry your visit to California is going to be hot.
Saw that. Hey, I can still appreciate the palm trees and the sunshine, right?
It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, you're already starting off on the right foot. You're taking the positive out of this wretched heat. And actually, Thursday we had like this chemical leak at the railroad right here. It was a chaos. It was a mess. It was weird. Never thought I'd see it, but it's. I mean, what else can we expect here?
Wow.
These past few years. So.
Did they get cleaned up?
So it was like a vapor chemical leak. It wasn't like a liquid, if that makes sense. From what I understand, I could be wrong. It was kind of weird, but they were concerned that the heat was gonna make it explode. So. So yeah,
scary thought.
They shut down a section of a freeway in Southern California, and that's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, that'll ruin your day.
Can you imagine that?
No.
Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from?
Salt Lake City area.
What's going on in Salt Lake? Is that where you're residing? Is that your spot?
I'm up in North Salt Lake. Everybody else on the team, they're out in the Chicago area.
So you're the lone wolf?
Yeah, I'm the lone wolf out here now, dominating the West, trying to at least.
That's good. I mean, the army of one, if you will, with the West Coast. It's always kind of interesting with the time difference when the team's 2 time zones, 3 time zones away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't work out too bad. I'm 1 hour difference from them.
Oh, I guess you're mountain, right?
Yeah, mountain time.
Oh, there you go.
So it's not so bad. It works out. I just have to wake up a little earlier to get all freshened up for Friday meetings, right?
Oh, there you go.
On the teams.
What's Salt Lake like? I've actually only flew into Salt Lake, and then last year I drove to Kansas City and did the highway like past Moab, and it was amazing, beautiful.
Yeah, what's nice about it is it's right by all the mountains. You've got so many national parks around out there too. I mean, Yellowstone's not a far drive. Zion, there's so many. So it's a beautiful place to be.
Is that kind of what you do? You like to sightsee and hit the hikes?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do more of, because I think there's a lot more of that in terms of the terrain opportunities than there were out in the Chicago area. But everywhere in the U.S. is nice for their different things that they have to do. So
climate-wise, what are you talking about? You getting 4 seasons in Salt Lake? Obviously, I know snow is kind of into that.
Yeah, I'm used to that though, because Chicago is known for their winters. So it's still 4 seasons, I would say. Pretty good.
So what do you do in your spare time when you're not working Klein Tools?
I like to play tennis, do things with friends, families, go outdoors, and I like to read too. So
what are you into reading? Just fictional, non-fictional?
Yeah, it's a mix. I really like mystery novels. There's an old writer called Agatha Christie who's really famous, so I like reading stuff from her. I read Jordan Peterson's 2 books recently. I like a lot of self-help kind of communication type books because I think those are uplifting and teach you a lot how to improve your interpersonal relationships. So
that's good. And those are those soft skills we talked about prior to recording that I think we can all benefit from. And if you look over my shoulder, I got a few books. I tried the Jordan Peterson, was it the 12
Rules for Life?
Yes, I tried the audio and it put me to sleep, so I might have to try I can't do audio. I love podcasts, obviously, but I can't do audio books to save my life.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things with Jordan Peterson, and fans might get on me for this, but he does go on tangents, and sometimes the tangents are really enjoyable, and sometimes they might not be. But it depends on the person if it's speaking directly to you or not. So
for sure, those are good. I like those. I'm not a big tennis guy. You'd probably kick my butt in tennis. I don't think I've ever played a tennis match, and I don't understand the scoring system, but that's not this conversation. Salt Lake City, the airport, it's a mess right now. I wanted to directly tell you that to your face because you're a Salt Lake Cityan.
It's not that bad right now.
They're shuttling you like a mile away. And,
okay, that's true.
I mean, it's not that bad, but it makes, if you have a connecting flight, and everything connects to Salt Lake, so it makes it a little interesting. So if you're hearing this and if you're less than an hour of connecting flight, you better run. When are they expecting that to be done? Do you know?
I was actually just talking to someone about this because I wasn't very familiar with it, just starting flying out there. I think it's supposed to be at least a year out though to get everything, because they're building on and adding all these new gates and everything. So we'll see. When's the last time you were there?
Let's see. That was Detroit. So 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I always get directs, so I guess I'm the worst person to ask. So I just get directs from Salt Lake. I don't have to deal with any of the shenanigans. So
it's the worst. It makes for interesting.
It is annoying to go through though, because there's no, they have those like monorail type systems for like Houston and places like that where you can go through really quickly, and Salt Lake doesn't have anything like that. So I will say that.
And of course, I'm always getting the connecting flight that's opposite end of the airport. And it's it's a nice little hike. I bet you didn't think you were going to talk about Salt Lake City this much.
No, I mean, it comes with it. It's a fascinating place, right? A lot of Californians are moving there.
I hear that. I just listened to a podcast this morning. Tennessee, Nashville, they're influx with Californians and Texas. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Leaving in droves, as they would say. I got to keep a few more Salt Lake questions, and then I will quit boring the audience and you with Salt Lake stuff. Is there actually Salt Lakes around Salt Lake?
The Great Salt Lake.
Is that a thing? Well, like, what's the deal?
I'm not a native. I mean, I just know it's called the Great Salt Lake, and I think it has something to do with salt deposits, but
it's always weird flying in. Like, you see those little, I don't know, bodies of water. Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, they have the lakes. It's right by the city, obviously. I'm sure that's where it gets the name. But
I imagine so. Last question. I'm a big food guy. You got a spot to eat in Salt Lake City? Recommendations?
So they have a lot of diverse different types of food. I I like Peruvian food. So
Peruvian
there's a
food.
couple Peruvian food places that are
Is it
pretty
like
good in the area.
pupusas and stuff like that?
Like ceviche,
Oh,
ají
nice.
de gallina, stuff like that.
Hey, all right. Ceviche's that's kind of
else?
like a hobby like mine. Ceviche or calamari ordering as appetizer. You get a good vibe check of the restaurant.
Oh, yeah. I like the small hole in the wall places. Everywhere I travel, where you go somewhere, you know, some people might say, oh, you're going to get food poisoning going there. Those are the best places to eat.
So
And they never give you food poisoning, from my experience.
you're risking it,
Oh, yeah. That's the best places to eat.
especially with ceviche too. That's you were brave there, Megan Berry.
They have to follow codes and things like that.
hope
I
so.
trust it.
Hope so. Cool. All right. We're done with that. We're gonna move onward and upward. Growing up, let's go into that. Tell me a little about your early life. What was it like being a young Megan Berry?
Okay, so I moved around a lot growing up. My dad was in the Coast Guard, and then he'd switch over to National Guard later on. So I lived in a few different states. I was born in Oregon. Family moved to Alaska, and then from there to Florida, back to Oregon, and then Kentucky's where I spent most of my formative years, middle school, high school.
Do you know what your dad, what his job was in the Coast Guard?
No,
All right.
I don't. He was on a ship. He actually, I don't think he liked it that much because he wanted to be with family and everything. But
Yeah. So I was in the Navy, as some of you know, but we were detached with a Coast Guard, and they are in what's called cutter ships, and they're really small, and you get seasick really easily. So
I think he was on a smaller ship. So he went to the Coast Guard Academy. And then from there, he was obviously in it. I think it's 4 years minimum from the academy to stay in. And one memory I do have from when I was a little kid was for their ship, him and all of his buddies, they had a haunted house set up on the ship. And when I was really young, that was the first haunted house I ever got to go on. But they had all the lights on and everything, so it wasn't that scary for the little kids.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the fun part of bringing the family onto the ship or something like that too. That's cool. It's a pretty prominent memory, I guess you have.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's cool.
Because you get impressed when I get to go on the ship. This is where dad works and things like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're like in this structure of military, this big unit, this big organization, and I don't know. I was always fascinated with the military growing up, like just the whole going through a guard, checking your ID. He's got a gun. Like I was like, oh, this is awesome. So. Hence, I joined the military. All right, what's it like going to Kentucky? Like, what was that time frame like?
I enjoyed it. I actually really like Kentucky. It's a beautiful state, the bluegrass state, right? The grass isn't really blue, but type of grass.
How old are you when you guys moved to Kentucky?
Oh gosh, I think I was probably 12, and then I was there all the way up until I left for college, so 18. So that was the longest I ever lived in one place, and it was nice. Horse racing is a big part of culture out there, right? The Kentucky Derby and everything.
Sure.
So that was funny because when I first moved there, I was from Oregon, Portland area. I had no idea what the Kentucky Derby was. I knew that a derby was a type of hat, so that's what I thought they were referring to. I had no idea because every time it's May, I think, when they do the Kentucky Derby, all their schoolmates, everybody is always talking about it because it's a huge cultural thing there. So it was different.
Do you dress up even if you don't go to the actual race?
No, you only dress up if you go to the track.
Okay.
Then you're dressed all fancy and...
Have you ever gone to the track?
No. I've been to the track, but I haven't been to the Derby itself. Yeah.
I think every time, if you look up like sports or events to do, it's always like the Masters, the Super Bowl, obviously, the Masters for golf, and the Kentucky Derby always shows up too.
They call it the most exciting 5 minutes in sports.
Sure. I'll take it.
Depending on how much money you bet, right?
Yeah, I hate betting, so I'm good.
Same here. I don't bet.
Yeah. That's cool. So, what was the relationship like with your parents at that age? Like, did you hang around? Obviously, my reason for asking, you're involved with tools, obviously. So was there any type of tinkering with dad as far as tools go?
Yeah, so I grew up really close to my family, probably doing more things with my siblings than I did anybody else. I have 5 siblings. Mom and dad, been married my whole life. They got married when they were pretty young, in their early 20s. And dad was a handyman. His father taught him pretty much a little bit of every trade. You know, he was a jack of all trades. He'd do a little bit of electrical work. He'd do some carpentry. He'd do everything because his dad taught him how to do everything. So whenever we moved to a new house, he was always doing some sort of project. You know, he was finishing a basement in a new house and, you know, having to do the flooring and the walls and, you know, install all the electricity, everything. So I was one of the kids who was more of a tomboy, I guess, and I like to kind of be a part of that. What's that do? Even just handing tools to him while he's, you know, bent over working. So that was always a part of my life. Was
it like a chore to your dad to have to do these tasks, or you think he actually found like joy?
To this day, he finds a lot of joy in staying busy. He's a hard worker. He's still in the military. He's an instructor, so he likes teaching. And then he has his civilian job as well. So he stays busy every single day of the week.
What do you think? Do you think he enjoyed the experience of having you kind of like shadow in those events and being little curious little George over there?
Yeah, yeah, I think he likes it. Especially, I was one of the more inquisitive ones. So depending on how hard the task is, I'm sure that can be annoying sometimes when you have a kid saying, why are you doing that? you
sure,
know,
yeah.
What's that for? And you're trying to focus. But no, I definitely think he likes the company.
Do you reflect, as obviously now you're older, do you reflect now back to those times maybe spent with your dad doing those things or interacting like that?
Yeah, I feel like the more years that go by, I really reflect on how much of an influence my mom and my dad had on me in terms of my work ethic developing and kind of envisioning where I want to be in life. So yeah, the older you get, the more you think about it.
Right.
Scary and good at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And I find myself doing that more now and remembering stuff that I didn't think that were in my little brain there. But like you said, yeah, reflecting back, it's pretty cool. So you would kind of credit your dad for that hard work, that drive, that staying busy. What kind of things did your mom teach you, or what did you take from your mom?
My mom, I think so. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, homemaker my whole life. So I think a lot of the emotional sensitivity, almost like the customer service aspect of everything I do, I feel like I learned from my mom in a way because she's a big people pleaser. She's always looking to serve. I mean, how can you not when you have a whole bunch of little kids and extended family and all these people? So I think that's the biggest thing I took from her is, you know, having a sensitive ear to people's needs and trying to appreciate what other people do as well.
Being a good listener would probably fall into your job role as a sales rep.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to the source of problems and trying to solve them.
What's your relationship now like with your parents?
It's really positive. I see them all the time. That was a part of what brought me out west was because they had all moved as well. So they were up in Michigan before was the latest move. So
fun fact, I just got back from Michigan 2 weeks ago and it was humid.
Oh yeah. I mean, everywhere up there, it can get pretty humid right around the lakes. Winters are miserable if you get the lake effect snow. It's nice at the same time if you like snow, but not driving.
So I'm standing there in this humidity, and I'm like, they get humidity in the summer and cold ass snow in the winter. I was like, man, these people, they love this area because this is. And then like we went to go watch. We flew in early and we got to watch. We went to go see the Tigers play in Detroit, and like this monsoon out of nowhere just shows up and just dumps rain, and then it just stops 10 minutes later. And I was like, man, this is kind of crazy.
If you live by the lakes, the bugs are so bad too.
Yeah, nasty.
Just killer.
The mosquitoes, right? Yeah, they were before the rodeo. They were spraying, and I was like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "You're gonna want this."
The swarms, yeah.
Swarms. I was like, "Man, what did we get?"
This is a horror movie. Yeah.
Can I go back?
I came here to have fun.
I'm gonna go back to the beach of California. All right, let's go into anything else from your family. Any values? Anything key of topic you want to talk about from that experience? It sounds like they were great. I imagine you still kind of lean on them for just that family culture, just that advice or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I credit my parents with all the opportunities that I had growing up to improve myself. And I think having good role models is really central. If you don't have them in parents, hopefully somewhere else, but it definitely helped me, and you gain a greater appreciation for that when you look around and you realize not everybody has that. So
sure, that's awesome. That's great. Did you have any early work experience?
So what I think is the most important early work experience that I had growing up, like as a teenager. So I used to be really shy, like deadly shy. And I started coaching tennis because I really like tennis. And so at Falling Springs Recreation Center, which was in Versailles, Kentucky, I was asked to be a tennis coach. So I started out volunteering, and that was fine. I can talk to kids, that's easy.
How old were you at this point?
I was 14, I think, when I first started. So I was pretty young. I think that's middle school, right? Yeah, I was finishing up middle school. And once I started becoming the tennis coordinator for the county, then it got more real. And I had to talk to parents and adults and strangers and all these people. And I had to get better organization skills in order to organize matches and things like that with different counties. So that made me get out of my shell, become more confident, and less shy is the most important thing. So that was important for me.
Already shaping your sales, your interaction of people early.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbeknownst to you, I guess is the word. How long did you do that for?
So I started coaching in middle school. I can't remember. I think end of 7th grade. And then obviously I kept coaching all the way up until I left for college. So several years, it was a consistent summer activity and fall and spring job for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we're talking a little bit before is the podcast is you have your master's in communications?
So I have my bachelor's degree in communication. I do have an MBA as well.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Dang. That's awesome. I just have a journeyman lineman ticket.
I wish I would have done a trade, but I still think about that. How can I study a trade when I'm gone all week? Can I do something on weekends? How many years would that take? How many decades to make up for that,
That's crazy that you still have that drive, like you have that desire to learn a trade. I mean, I cringe at the thought of having to be in a classroom still. Like, oh man.
Well, that's why so originally I wanted to go to law school. And I decided that wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't want to go back to school. I liked sales. You get out there, you're making money, you're meeting people, you're in the real world.
Sure.
I didn't want to feel like I was cooped up in a classroom again. But I kind of want that trade experience to see what I can do, even if it's just for fun on weekends or something, because I talk to so many guys, like linemen especially. They can do everything. And maybe that's just my perspective, but they're talking about building houses and doing all these extra things on the side. And I'm sure it's because they like working with their hands and they like learning how they can be efficient and do what they want to do.
I tell you what, there's something to that, just that being that smart to be able to build and just have that knack for things. When it comes to like carpentry, I'm terrible. Like before I became a lineman, before I got into the high voltage industry, I did inside wireman. And I could not bend pipe. It was kicking my butt, and so thankfully I made the switch. But I don't have that knack to just like build a house. I'd rather just go pick one up and be fine with it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So more to you. I want to see. We'll have another podcast in a year, and we'll see how your trade.
How many houses I've built.
Yeah, your trades. Maybe we'll document it. What was college like? Did you have any key lessons there? Is there anything you took away from that experience? How long does it take? What's that time frame like from start to beginning or start to end is for you?
So I finished college in 3 years. I finished a little early, but I took a year off, so I was kind of making up for it.
Wait. So you got your bachelor's in 2 years, or your MBA in 2 years, essentially?
Yeah. I got my bachelor's
smokes.
3 years. Usually it takes 4. But I would have gone the regular speed, I guess. But after my first 2 semesters, I went and I did mission work in Peru. So I thought, okay, to catch up with my peers, I need to speed up here and take more classes. So I was kind of drowning in like 21 credits during each semester. So.
No free time for Megan Berry. No.
I still made free time, but I was addicted to energy drinks at the time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. What was your poison?
So it switched. I did Monster, and then I did Rockstar, and then I did NOS.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You have to try these.
I don't drink any energy drinks now.
This Jocko, you don't?
No, I haven't in a while.
That's good.
Because I tried not to. It was just I needed it because I was having a social life and school and extracurricular and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. More power to you. Just whatever that is. more power to you. That's awesome. So what happens after college? What's going on there?
So when I graduated, I went to DC to do an internship. So that was 2019 in the springtime. And then once I finished, I kind of went back to...
Hang on, what was DC like?
DC is really cool.
Political world and stuff.
So I like history. So I really appreciated the fact that I got to go to different museums all along the mall and everything. So I liked that part of it. It's a big city, so you have to like living in the big city. I lived in Arlington, and then I'd take the public transit to work every day in DC because most people don't live right in DC.
I think there's something to be said about being in a big city and utilize the public transportation and just kind of either find it's for you or it's not, and you can make the decision. You go back to being, to move or whatever. But that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. No, I liked it, but I knew it wasn't where I wanted to be for, the future, right?
Sure.
So I went back to Race Ramps, which is the company that I was working at throughout college, off semester, and then I'd go to SEMA and the shows during the school year. And so I kept working with them, doing some marketing, customer relations, and that's when I started looking for a long-term position at, a big girl company,
So let's transition to that. How'd this job come up for Klein Tools?
Yeah, I was looking for a sales position, and I was actually looking for an outside sales position. I would have preferred to not be inside doing cold calls all day long.
Why? So you just love sales? Like you feel like sales is it?
I just like meeting new people. I like talking. I like listening. But again, meeting interesting people gives me life. Hearing people's different experiences and their backgrounds, and I was just really fortunate to come across a position that, mix that in with the other thing I really like, which is learning, technical aspects of products or, rules, anything. I like learning. So
I didn't catch that transition of being that shy girl into this outgoing, meeting people. When was that? Could you know when that growth happened? Or is there experience or a time frame that you know?
Again, I think it was kind of over time. It definitely started when I was in, middle school, high school, doing coaching. And then in college, it increases more, but that's more just with your peers, everybody's the same age mostly. And then when I was out in Peru, that kind of forces you out of your comfort zone as well, because you have to speak a different language with people. There are people of all sorts of different life experiences, ages, and a completely different background from you. So you have to learn, okay, despite all these differences, where are we also similar? Where can I relate? What can I learn here?
I'm making the connection of you stating earlier that you like Peruvian food. I imagine this is with your time of being in Peru.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. I learned how much I loved Peruvian food there.
And isn't it weird how, sorry to get off topic of Klein, but being in the military too, you find out like there's differences as a human being, but culturally, like food is like that common denominator of gathering and social skills, and like it brings that joy. Like it's just a great social skill that sometimes can lead into getting a bigger belt size. But I mean, it's a common denominator of a language barrier. It was always one of those things I looked forward to, and I still look forward to when I go somewhere is to get in that culture and have their food, watch them make it, watch them. How do they set the table? How do they engage with each other? I'm going on a rant, but I can sense your passion, and I'm passionate about it. So that's cool.
I agree completely. That's one of the perks of the job. You get to take your customers out. They tell you the nice local places to eat. They tell you what the best food is.
Yes, it's a bad hobby. All right, so how did Klein Tools come up again? Did you see it in the newspaper, obviously, or was it a good refer a friend, or how'd this job come out?
I think that I saw the listing on LinkedIn, and I went to the website, read more about it, talked to my dad because he was familiar with the tools. You know, he had some and he used often, right? His were really old. Everybody's Klein tools are really old, right?
Yes.
Because they work forever. So I decided to apply, and then I went through the interview process, and I got hired.
Was there hesitation because it was a tool company? Obviously, it could, feel like it's an uphill battle for you, or is it was just something like, this is a challenge for me, this is something I want to do? Like the more challenging, the better for you?
Yeah, so I like the challenge of, again, learning new products. One of the most foreign ones is, wire pulling grips. I didn't really know too much about those. I think they asked in the interview, what's a wire pulling grip used for? And I was like, pulling wire, throwing that out there, right? But I like learning the technical aspect and kind of seeing where that is applied in the field. One of the most fun parts is if we can go to a job site, put the hard hat, put the steel-toed boots on, and see how the line workers work. So I didn't see a barrier. Even as a female, I guess I didn't, because I came from more the automobile industry with my other company. So I was used to being in, I guess, what's traditionally referred to as a male-dominated, industry. But I knew that I'd really like working for Klein Tools from the get-go. One, because I met the team and they just seemed amazing. And then two, because I knew that being in this sort of industry, you were going to meet people who were passionate about what they were doing. And I feel like that just uplifts you so much. When you travel and you get to talk to customers who love what they do and are not, it's not a drag for them to be talking to you. It's not a drag for them to look at your products. That just brings your spirits up so much. And it inspires you to learn more and to listen to their feedback, to take it back to the company.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And obviously you're passionate, and then we'll get into your role now a little bit later. Your role now at Klein Tools a little bit later. But you're definitely passionate about that, and having that knack of just wanting to learn and be better. That's awesome. And we need those people who, I don't want to say assist, but who are part of our team on the outside, who are just like contributing success into installing the wire, installing the poles, that kind of stuff. Like, you need people who are just as passionate about what they do to help contribute to building the grid, to building this infrastructure. Let's go back. Let's talk more about the Klein Tools. Obviously, the famous logo. You got the guy on the pole, and it says established in 1857. You're talking about a long time ago here. We're talking about Klein Tools. Can you talk a little bit about the history of Klein Tools a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So Klein Tools, like you said, 1857 is when the company was established. So that's, 160 years ago. What happened was there was a man named Matthias Klein. He was a German immigrant to the United States. I think he started out in New England, and then he made his way out towards Chicago. So Chicago was a bustling area for industry at this time. It was one of those cities where you'd move there in order to get new opportunity and improve your life, especially as an immigrant.
The World Fair there, I mean, that's where a lot of Nikola Tesla was kind of started there.
Yeah, no, it was huge. And this was a time period where, the steel industry starts really growing in the U.S., telecommunications, everything that was needed during the Civil War, of course. So there was definitely big industry changes. The U.S. was, at this point, only because of these industries, going to become a leader on the global front. And Matthias Klein, he was working in his own little forgery, right? And what happened was a telecom lineman came in and asked if Klein could repair a pair of pliers that he had, side cutting pliers. One half of them had broken. So he said, sure, I can do it. Come back in a few days. And sure enough, he gave him the repaired pliers. So one half of the plier was new, the other half was old. And then a bit later, I think a few days or so, he came back and he said, okay, well, the old half is broken, so can you just fix that half now too? So he did, and he repaired it. So it's kind of that paradox of lock socks, right? If you keep repairing the holes in the socks and then there's no part of the old sock left, it's a new sock, right?
Right.
So this was the very first pair of Klein pliers that was built, half one day, half another day, and now it was the very first pair. And of course, word of mouth spreads. It still spreads very quickly in this industry to this day, right?
Absolutely.
So word spread, and so all this guy's buddies, this lineman's buddies, were coming and asking for him to fix their tools. And then I think that's when they started getting into making the tools from scratch as well. Because before he was primarily like a locksmith and doing a few other things as well. He studied all this back in Germany and brought all these skills over to him. But Klein Tools, really, otherwise, everything back then in terms of steel was mostly being made up in Germany. So there'd be a longer lead time before you could actually get anything you needed. So, from there, he starts building the company with his sons, and it just goes generation to generation. We're in, 6th, 7th generation now, and it's still family owned and operated. So if there's any example of the American dream, I feel like it's Klein Tools. He came over with nothing, didn't speak English, and he built a huge tool company that's lasted generations.
Absolutely. And I know Klein Tools has a sense of pride of having a majority of their tools made in the USA. Obviously, there's some that's outsourced, but they still hold that true. And I know that there's different manufacturing plants, if that's the right word, around the United States.
Right. So our grips, for example, those are still made up in the Chicago area. We have our canvas goods have been being made in Fort Smith, Arkansas since the 1960s when we got that facility. Klein cutlery we have up in New York. And then we also have in Texas that's where screwdrivers, pliers, fish tapes. We have so many things made down there. I think the plant in Texas, I want to say almost 30,000 units a day are produced down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's huge. A lot of tools. Iconically, the Kleins, the pliers, and you guys kind of stapled that term of lineman pliers as Kleins, even in competitors, going to be referred to as Kleins. I used to call them I call them nines. It was that 9 inches.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, everyone's got a different word for them, but it's probably one of those iconic things that that's my blue handle Kleins. That's what they are. I have 2-3 sets, and sometimes the handle falls off, the blue handle comes off, and you keep them, and then you rub them in the dirt, and they never break. They're awesome. And then you got the canvas bag signature kind of. These are things that I think of when I think of Klein Tools, just like everyday use that are they're just the end user, the subject matter expert. This is what they have every day. Every day they go to work, this is what they have. So obviously you said Klein Tools is still a family-run business. You got this. I can't remember their names, but you have them in the leadership positions, in the top positions, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
What's that like, being a part of something that's as traditional as Klein Tools? 100, like you said, 160 years of being something, that's being a part of something, being a key member of something like that.
It's really nice. It's something that drew me towards Klein and still impresses me, as you see the passion still in the family, how much they love the company. They love what it stands for. They love continuing to innovate and bring about new products and improve the business. It's not just their names. They're directly involved in business decisions and everything that's going on. And they're very friendly. And it kind of brings about this. It's a large company, but it has a small company feel, which at least for me, I absolutely love that.
No, that's cool. And having that last name on those leadership positions, I think it's awesome. And there's a little bit more at stake when it's your last name on there. And I think it's cool. I was looking up online some of the mission for Klein Tools and their mission statement or their core values. They said customer obsession, ownership, quality, innovation, and teamwork. Those kind of just fit our mold. You can wordplay a little bit, but I mean, the ownership part, obviously we're big into that. The quality, it's just they really hit the nail on the head on those kind of core values, and it really translates into the industry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think especially, the quality of work, customer obsession. Obviously, there's a direct correlation between power utility workers and Klein. We have to make the best tools in order for the jobs to get done. And you guys have to be able to know how to use them, and you need those best tools. Otherwise, it's going to make it a lot harder to get everything done. But it's such a critical industry. When you think about first responders, for example, you think of police and EMS, fire department, but really power utility workers are 100% first responders when you think about what happens at storms and all the disasters that can occur. So we just love being able to support the industry and do what we can.
That's cool. And I agree with you 100%. Storm just wreaking havoc on area, and you got to get out there in the elements and then just get after it, get the power back on.
Yeah. I mean, even heat, you get outages for that. So even when the weather's clear, you don't know what can happen.
Yeah.
That's why we appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah. Cool.
Wild.
Thank you all. I mean, you guys are assisting in that. And then, I mean, to every good lineman or every worker out there, that they got a Klein, pair of Klein pliers that are assisting them in that building of restoring the power, or just building the infrastructure. So you guys have your hand in it too. All right, let's talk about your role. So you're the senior heavy infrastructure sales rep. Whew, tongue twister.
Yeah.
So let's break that down for me. What's going on there?
Okay, so I'm senior because I've been around 3 years.
That's good.
So I've learned enough to get that addition to the title, I guess. Still learning every single day. I tell you, even just different tools, you learn a different nickname from a different region of the U.S. all the time, right? But what I do is I travel Monday through Thursday generally, and I go and I visit customers. And our customers, they include our distributors, of course, because Klein does not sell direct. But we primarily try to spend time with the end users so that we can get them samples and demos of the tools so they can try them in the field, and we can get them approved and get them using it, get their feedback as well, see what we need to improve upon for the future or what they like and don't want us to change. So I'll go to, electrical contractors, investor-owned utilities, the big municipalities and cooperatives throughout my sales territory, and just see them. Fridays, we have meetings within office, and then you're back right at it the next week, unless you have a rodeo or anything on the weekend.
Jeez, you're on the go. You're collecting those Delta Sky Miles.
Oh, yeah.
As a end user, I got a question. What's the advantage or disadvantage of not selling directly to the consumer as Klein Tools and selling to the distributor?
So I think the biggest advantage is that we get positive relationships with our distributors, and we can kind of work hand in hand. I think it's actually nice for the end users too, because you have multiple resources that you can inquire with for questions on tools or, warranty, things like that. And I think it's good for us because I get the opportunity to primarily be a tool representative and talk about how a tool is going to help you. And then the distributor can worry about pricing and all that information, I guess.
That's cool. So you just got to get it there.
Yeah, we get to focus on the technical stuff, I think.
That's good. Has your initial expectation of your role met with the actual reality of your role? Has that, it's a big title, senior heavy infrastructure sales rep. Has that met all your expectations?
Yeah. So funny story. When I first was applying, I think they said 75% travel, and I thought it was just driving within the state of Illinois. So I thought, okay, so I'll move to Illinois and then I'll just drive throughout Illinois, and that's going to be, I'm traveling 75% of the time instead of being in the office. And Mark Rapacki, when I was talking to him on the phone during the interview process, he was like, oh no, you're going to be flying 75% of the time every week. And I was, okay, that's even better. That's great. So I guess my initial impression was different, but overall, I guess I didn't really know what to expect in the end, because it's such a different industry that if you're not a part of it, you might have never really heard about it ever. Like, I watched Storm Soldiers when I first started, and that was my initial introduction. And then we went down to, ComEd in Illinois, and I saw some guys in it. It's celebrities, it was amazing. And I think Klein, my team, has done an amazing job with providing more opportunities beyond that, just for our own learning opportunities and being able to really be a part of the team and be a part of something bigger. So it's only exceeded my expectations, I guess.
That's cool. That's awesome. How do you challenge yourself in your day-to-day roles? I mean, you're traveling a lot. You don't have a boss directly over your shoulder. Like you're a go-getter. You're essentially just kind of like an entrepreneur. Like, this is your baby. This is your business. Go get it.
Yeah, that's definitely how I like to look at it. That's why you have to have that internal motivation. You have to have values that keep yourself aligned and focused. Because if you don't have someone looking over your shoulder, they're going to notice if things aren't getting done. But that's why you need to have a drive. I'm representing myself, my family, and the Klein family, the Klein company. So what I like to do to try to challenge myself is to just try to get those extra calls when you're out on the road, try to fit everything in that you can, especially when I'm in a newer territory that I've not made a lot of contacts with. That's kind of a fun opportunity because I get to say, okay, how can I get these contacts at these companies? How do I meet with them? And you get to do a little bit of the, I guess, cold call aspect, reach out to people on LinkedIn or, show up to the office and see if you can figure out who to talk to. So I like that part of challenging yourself.
Is it always interesting when, let's say you talk to the receptionist or the front office gal, and then you get to that person that you're going to talk to, and they're like, hey, this is, you got a rep from Klein Tools wanting to speak to you, and they're like, okay, we'll see. And then they send you back, and there's Megan Barry. There's this long-haired gal, and she's ready to go. You kind of sense like they're like, okay, this is a little bit different, but here we go.
Yeah, some people say that it's different a lot because we don't have too many reps throughout North America. They haven't seen a Klein rep in a long time, so maybe I'm not what they expected. Well, maybe it was long enough ago where they thought they'd see a member of the Klein family. I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
But it's fun. I really like it, meeting new people especially. And that's what's great about working for Klein Tools too. Everybody recognizes the name in this industry. It's not some shady thing. I'm not selling out of a trench coat or anything. So
yeah, that's true. And I think I kind of mentioned it. Klein Tools sells itself, and you're going to look at it if it has that name, it has that branding on it. You're gonna at least look at what you guys are getting into. We'll get into products a little bit later, but yeah. Do you set short-term and long-term goals for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. We within the company, obviously, we set our annual goals. And then I would say we break it down to quarterly as well because we do quarterly reviews. And then for me personally, every week you have different goals based on not only the customers you're seeing, depending on what state or region you're in, but also who do you have to follow up with, what do you need to solve. So there's a lot of organization that is involved in making sure that you meet short-term and long-term. I need to get this tool approved. What are my lag measures, my lead measures in order to reach that? So
that's cool. Thank you for sharing that. What does being the best at your role look like to you?
Well, being the best.
You thought you were just going to talk about tools, huh?
Yeah, I know. I think I would have to say to be knowledgeable in our product line, that is key. That's kind of the key to everything. Being honest about your blind spots and where you need to improve, and then seeing the results, which would be, are we getting these tools approved? Are they actually being utilized in the field in the end, or am I just showing it and then nothing ever comes from it? So that's probably the main way that you can measure success.
That's awesome. We've recently seen challenges in our industry and throughout the world, obviously with COVID-19. Just locally here in our industry, we've seen communication challenges. In the office, it's not uncommon to do a meeting over Zoom or Teams. But when you're talking about the field level workforce, there's a challenge in communication, obviously with restrictions and those challenges to communicate verbally, non-verbally. That's the job. What kind of challenges did you and your team have when you're supposed to be traveling? You're supposed to be getting out there. What kind of challenges did you guys have?
Definitely the biggest challenge, I would say, comes from the fact that in this industry, everyone is very hands-on. They want to be able to touch, to feel, to learn about it, one for one. And when you can't meet in person, it created a more challenging dynamic, especially when it comes to, tool committees. They might still be held, a team meeting, a Zoom meeting, but how many people are, driving who have to be on the road during that as well? How many people are not able to look? I can't see your micro expressions. I can't see, hands being raised. I can't pass this new product around so you can, see it while I'm talking about it. So that was probably the biggest challenge. We tried to offset that a little bit. You try to send out a sample of it before you talk about it, and then hopefully they get it to their office or to their home and they can check it out and you can call them on the phone. But it's a big challenge when everyone's hands-on.
Absolutely. We tried working in pods to limit just people moving. We were doing safety meetings over Zoom to the workforce. It was like a phone-in safety meeting. With all that being said, I think you learn a lot about the industry. You learn a lot about yourself. As a company, you can reflect back and say, okay, that was actually kind of cool. A little backbone of our story of us starting this, it was because of communication. How can we communicate better? How can we get more information out there? Obviously, with social media, someone has a direct link to information. Well, we want our information on that platform. So that was kind of a big leap at looking at to being innovative and saying, how can we get a safety message to the workforce? How can we get A, B training to the workforce? Well, we can do it through their phone. We can do it through a podcast. We can do it through social media, photos, videos. So that's always a challenge. It wasn't a fun time, but I do think that we learned as an industry, we learned as a company to just do better and recognize your weaknesses, or you refer to them as your blind spots. I think that was kind of cool reference point. Recognizing your blind spots as a division or as a team and as a company to ultimately be better. So
I agree. It definitely revealed a lot of what can we do better in terms of being more organized or in improving communication. So it definitely helped prepare more. And now everything that we learned during COVID, we can keep going with that and add on top of that. Now we get to be in person and hands-on again.
Absolutely. I mean, you go to work every day and not taking for granted the fact that you can have that close interaction. You're talking about two guys in the primary, two line workers in the primary working side by side in close proximity. That's the job. I'm going to lean on you. You're going to lean on me. We're going to be in close contact. Typically when you get a cold, I get a cold. That's the way it goes. And then you kind of have to be skeptical about that with COVID-19. It was a challenge. So I think it's awesome that as an industry, we're all right, let's learn, let's roll up our sleeves and come out with the best solution and figure out how we're going to get products, equipment, the job done. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm passionate.
It's good.
What's that conversation like with a customer who's skeptical of a tool, or maybe they prefer one of your competitors' tools?
So usually for me, instead of telling them why they should prefer ours, I just ask why they prefer our competitors, or, what they're skeptical about with the tool I'm showing them. Because the reality is, and this is something that, you kind of have to accept and you have to humble yourself as a representative. I don't have any experience working hands-on as a lineman. I can't challenge your knowledge there, nor do I want to, because I will lose that fight. So I like to just ask more questions, and I need to understand that perspective before I can tell you anything else about it. So if I hear your whole perspective, then I might say, okay, well, here's why our engineers made it this way, but I still turn that right back around and ask a question. Do you think that we did this right? And we take back that feedback and we talk about it as a team. We talk about it with our engineers, our product managers, because like I said, we're constantly trying to improve, and we trust you guys. Most of the linemen have decades of experience, and we don't take that for granted. So, and
you guys are always having to be innovative and evolve. Obviously, we'll get into to some new products you have here, but the installation of the HPE wire, right? The covered wire. I can't think of the acronym, but the new spec is this, and you guys have to to shift and come up with a solution for that. So
Yeah.
always on your toes. How do you handle a constructive critique on a piece of equipment? I mean, obviously you're selling it, type of deal.
Constructive critique, I write that down. I take notes on all the calls, and then generally I go back and we talk to Mark, we talk to the product managers, and we say, hey, these are the things that we've heard about this tool. Sometimes we get really good, interesting insights. Sometimes we launch a tool and it's for, one purpose, and then we take it in the field and they say, yeah, but you can also use this for this application and this application. So you can learn new things about it too. So we always try to take notes so we can remember it, share with the team so we can take that information everywhere else it needs to go.
Right on. Thank you. Next question. How important is it to train the end user in that tool to know the specifications? Obviously, to have a new box sent to your crew and you cut it open and you got these brand new grips, you got this brand new cool Klein thing going on, but you were never trained on it. You don't know the specifications. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts going on. How important is that to understand and know your working load limits, your catalog breaking strength on some things, and just those kind of specifications?
Yeah. So especially when you have something that's more first to market, that's really new and original, you have to be clear, because otherwise there's a risk that someone might have a negative first experience with it. And a lot of times that your first experience, if that's a bad experience, you're not going to want to look at it. You're not going to want to try it again. So, if it's something very new, very fresh, I like to try to be out there so we can help with setup, so we can help explain anything. And then sometimes I go to you and I show it to you first, and then we talk through everything, and then I either leave you a sample of it or I'll ship it to you later. So you've already been introduced to it. But of course, in terms of safety, it's really important to know how things work, what they're designed for, especially when you look at, a grip or anything that's safety oriented, voltage detector, anything there. So we try to be clear. We have all the resources that we need to answer questions that folks have, to work with engineering teams at companies or safety teams at companies.
Right on. That's cool. And a strategy that we're implementing now is with Steve Leckvold. He was on episode 20 of the Power Element podcast. You can check that out. But he's our training specialist now. So we're hoping that could eliminate any or could help with any questions, and help that situation of saying, hey, there's new material coming out. There's new products coming out. Let's help communicate to the workforce how to use it, what's going on. So, but like you said, safety gets involved too, and it's all for the better.
Oh yeah.
What does it look like as a team, Klein Tools team, to get a new product out and on the market?
So what's the process like?
However you want to take that question.
So we have, I believe, a 5-phase process, from the ideation stage to the launch stage. So it really depends on what the product is, how long that can take. It can take a few years, depending on how complicated the product is, how quickly we get through, engineering, testing. Sometimes we have to do drop testing for a while. You have to test durability, all these things. Generally, at some point, we're going to take prototype samples in the field, and those are going to be tested by select people who sign NDAs. If anyone ever wants to be a part of that process, they should sign up for our tradesman club, because actually anyone could be a part of it. So I would definitely recommend that if you're interested in seeing the latest and greatest before it comes out. And
Sure.
Especially if you provide amazing feedback and detailed feedback, they can sign up for Tradesman Club. But so it really depends on what the product is. And then once it goes to launch, generally that's when myself and my coworkers, we go to our different territories and we're taking it everywhere, showing it everywhere, trying to get it in people's hands so we can really get that feedback from the final launch and get tool committees and all those guys to look into it.
That's awesome. And it just depends, that process just depends on what actual product is.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely varies depending on the product.
What do you wish the end user knew about Klein Tools? What is there something maybe we're not understanding, or this message?
So
you're doing great, by the way. I'm throwing everything at you and you're just like...
What I wish, so I feel like everybody knows Klein Tools, right?
Sure.
I honestly, I wish more people knew that we were still family owned and operated, because so many don't realize it. And so I like people knowing that, just because it's fun for the reasons we talked about earlier. But I hope that they feel like we are really trying to continuously step up our game and our representation in the power utility industry. Like I said, we're trying to expand our team more and more, and have more resources out there so that we can support linemen, support all the different workers. And I guess that's the main thing that I hope that they know about us, is we're constantly diligently working to improve ourselves and hold ourselves accountable to the values that of hard work and quality that Matthias Klein founded the company on.
That was a perfect answer. That was great. That's the answer I wanted when I asked this, when I thought about this question.
Oh, I read your cheat sheet there.
You did good. You did good. What does the future look like for tools? And you can see now that Klein Tools is stepping into the PPE world. What does that future look like?
Yeah, this is a really exciting year for Klein Tools, honestly. Like I said, I've been with the company for 3 years. In terms of my excitement taking products out there, this is the peak so far. Like you said, PPE, I mean, we've got an excellent hard hat. We bought a company called Ergodyne out of Minnesota, which they've got a whole lot of, FR materials, balaclavas, all that sort of thing, cooling ones as well, all FR. So we have a lot of different PPE, to your point, more than ever before, I would say. And then just in terms of our own innovation in, like we'll talk about grips in terms of organization, I feel like we've really launched that into overdrive, and we're trying to be original. We're trying to improve things before the comment comes out that people want them. We're trying to be ahead of the game. So that's really exciting. That's
cool. And that's the $1 million question, right? To be ahead of the game and to see those initiatives and to really see what, to solve problems, basically. I mean, these are all, what you got on the table right here, we're going to get to these right now, is all solution to a problem that you guys have seen. So before we get to these new products, is there anything you want to talk about the older products or just the heavy infrastructure side that you're passionate about or you want to touch on?
I guess the number one thing I would say is if your company hasn't seen a Klein rep, reach out. We'd like to get out there and we'd like to be more active and help you with any questions that you have on legacy, new product. If you have any issues, we're always looking to support. We've got an email specifically for the heavy infrastructure power utility. It's our HI support email. So I want to make sure people are aware of that too. If they ever have any questions, they've got a kind of direct line.
What are some of those common questions like?
I would say probably common questions are questions on like proper grips to use, wire pulling grips. That's definitely the most common from what I've seen. Or asking for alternative products, because you might be using some older Klein products and you can't find them because they're discontinued. So if those are not super clear on our website, someone asking, okay, what's the replacement for this product? Well, we discontinued that because we created one that is better than that. So it kind of alienated that old SKU.
Sure. Right on. All right. You want to get into these new products? Is this?
Yes, absolutely. What should I start with? The dealer's choice.
I want to talk about this new grip. I love this thing.
Yeah, that's the exciting.
I'll let you geek out about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I guess I can hold it up right here. Okay. Yeah. So this is our newest innovation in terms of wire pulling grips. Honestly, probably the first major innovation that we've done in a while, which is really neat and exciting. So this is a wide range parallel jaw style grip, as you can see. The range it pulls is very wide. It does number 6 copper to 477 ACSR, 0.162 to 0.883. Okay. And we have multiple different versions of this grip, but all of them have a similar design in terms of this handle here. So what that's for is so it's easier than ever to reach out on the line. And it's like up to 50% lighter than similar grips out there right now. So you notice a difference when you hold this compared to other grips.
Oh, big time. Ergonomically, like this checks all the boxes. This one's just a standard 16-477.
Yes, that's the one for the bare copper aluminum ACSR. This is the first one that we launched. We launched this one at the end of last year. I think we debuted it at the Utility Expo in Kentucky.
Crazy. And you're right. Just grabbing it, the weight, it's lighter, but it's distributed evenly enough to where if you're leaning out in your tools, in your hooks, or if you got to kind of reach out there in the bucket, like it's gonna work good. That trigger, that closing of your thumb to bring it together, it's super easy. Opens up wide. The extended handle's amazing. Like it's real. The design is perfect on this thing. Then you got the eyelid that's kind of elongated and big over there, so any hoist is just gonna fit right on that thing.
Yeah,
super cool.
I know they worked really hard on the design and worked closely with linemen in order to kind of perfect it and get it where they wanted it to be. But in the end, it's a big space saver. If you're using those Klein 4500, 4600 grips, this one takes the place of both. So you're going to save some space, you're going to save some weight, and overall just make things a lot easier, especially for new guys starting out.
Yeah.
So.
No, I couldn't agree more. You can tell this is designed through problem solving or through feedback because it checks all those boxes that you want. Mm-hmm. As a subject matter expert in the field, like this is what you want. This is beautiful.
And then we've got other versions of it.
Yeah, what you got?
You've got the hot latch version of it there. Again, same range and everything. And then we've also got, aside from these, we have an EHS version of the grip and then tree wire as well. So those have the different jaws in order to accommodate those other cable types. The other thing that I think is really cool and exciting about these grips is they're color coded. So if you have the standard 16-477, you're going to have the gold jaw. If you have the EHS version, it's going to be all black. And if you have the tree wire, it's going to be silver. So if you have all of them on the truck, then you're going to be able to easily identify immediately, okay, which one do I need? You don't have to read the tiny font that might scrape off over time.
That is key. See, it's built through feedback. That's great. You have a color coordinator because when it comes to numbers and linemen, it's hard. Numbers are hard. The range is the same on those on the tree wire ones?
Yes, the range is the same on all the grips.
Is there a plan to unveil a larger?
That's a good question.
Or can we answer that?
I can say that Klein is always looking to develop tools that are useful for linemen.
I will go ahead and say that we could probably see something maybe shortly. That's a good answer. These are awesome. These are great. Klein Tools, how your team making this up, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is an exciting one. Again, I think it's on track to be our best-selling grip already. So in just the short time it's been out, it's really taken the world by storm.
So the feedback you're getting is already just positive.
Oh yeah, it's really positive. I mean, from the first time people hold it, you just notice that difference.
I don't think
the design, the weight, everything.
I don't think you can improve this design.
Somebody will think of something.
True. And I think
hopefully someone at Klein.
There you go. 5,000 pounds was the working load limit.
I think 5,000 pounds the capacity.
No side strain, just back from that eye. Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, go get this. Contact your local distributor and just fill the bucket up with these. These things are awesome. What else you got? What else you want to talk about?
Yeah, so the other, I guess, major game changer I would say is Klein has just recently launched our new bucket work center. And we have a variety of different modules. This one right here in front of me is the soft tool apron. So this is kind of similar to your standard vinyl apron. And this is dielectrically tested and everything. But these hooks are also specially designed. You kind of see a patented design here. That's so that they fit in. You hear there's kind of a lock. Let me see if I can capture that.
Yeah, I think you got it. You did good.
So this fits really slim against the wall. And it'll end up saving space in the bucket really well. Also, if you have controls, this will work perfect on this control side if you're trying to keep your tools away from where you're stepping in and out of the bucket. So we have 2-inch hooks, we have 3-inch hooks, And then we have a variety of other modules as well. Let me pull back.
And you could tell the initial orange apron did great. It's the standard in every bucket, pretty much. And then you see this, and you're like, okay, this was built off of feedback as well. It's compact, it's nice, it's clean. The hooks set the apron a little lower. And yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to reach down that far to get your tool, access your tool. I think it's super awesome.
I'm gonna get everything.
Look at you. You're going for it. If you guys want to see this photo, it's on the Klein Tools website. They show this out. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have everything on there.
And they got a cool video too. I'll put the link in the show notes.
I wish we had a bucket, but not enough space.
We can make something happen maybe. I'm just kidding.
The follow-up. So this is the hard tool module version. So all these are intended to be different options because the whole goal here is just like someone who works in at a desk job gets to kind of customize their workspace, or like how you have your whole office here set up for podcasting. You can mix and match these different modules in order to create the workspace you want. So some of these only use, one hook, and you can just scoot it around the bucket wherever you want it. So
and that's the socket?
This is socket storage. So these are all magnetic here, so they'll rest in. Actually, all the time I put the sockets in and then I shake it to test it, and they actually don't come out. So pretty strong magnets in there too. Long tool storage for your hoists.
What's the QR code on all these?
Oh yeah, so the QR code, this is something we put on some of our products because I saw them on our thermal imager that we just launched as well. But basically you can just scan that with your phone and then it'll bring up videos teaching you how to install it, ideas on how you could set it up in the bucket. So you can immediately look.
Here
we
go. That quick interaction of training options. Like this is the future. This is what we're talking about. This is the innovation that we need in the industry. Just that real time training. Like train me right now on this stuff. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I was at a tool committee just recently, and someone from safety really liked that we have the QR codes because they're saying that's exactly the kind of resource that we want people to have so that they can answer their questions quickly and they don't feel like they should just guess. They don't feel like the answer is going to come too slowly, so I might as well just guess. But yeah, we have magnetic tool storage as well, and then this one here's for your auger bits. So,
ooh, two auger bits right there, huh?
Yeah, and we have a spacer. So if you need it shorter, we have a spacer that you can put in there. Ooh. And these have, I don't think you can see it super well. You can kind of see it. There's steel cap at the bottom so that if it's hot, it's not going to damage the bottom, and then hole for draining too. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little water. I think all it has a little draining in there too.
Yeah, and this hard tool one I should mention. So all of these are like replaceable, removable. There's just little screws in there. So if you have a tool that has a thicker handle, like say a Fargo, a bug wrench, you can just unscrew this and then you can put it in there and it'll still fit. But yeah, so this is kind of our.
If you're OCD lineman, like this is something up your alley because you're gonna have the cleanest bucket. It's gonna look clean. It's super cool.
Yeah, helps you really customize, like I said, create your lineman workspace up in there.
For sure. How long has this been on the market, or is this all available, right?
Yeah, all these pieces and the hooks, they just launched, I think 2 weeks ago now. So they're available now. You can contact distributors and get them priced out and everything. But it's definitely exciting. I feel like we haven't seen a whole lot of new things come out in terms of bucket storage and customization. So I'm happy that we were able to get out there and make something. Yeah,
I didn't see this one coming. Like the grips, they're always can be improved. Obviously, this model, I don't think it can be touched for a while. But bucket storage, I didn't see it improved. You do see a lot of makeshift, some rigging up there as far as like storage and just ways to be efficient. But I think this, if you like that customization, if you like that integrated practicality, and if you like that nice clean look of everything, like this is up your alley. You guys hit this home run on this for sure. Megan, that's kind of all I got on the tools. Is there anything else you want to mention on the tools? Tool part.
I mean, stay tuned. We have more coming this year. So things we're really excited for. Hopefully anyone who's coming around to, like the International Rodeo, hopefully we have even more stuff that we're launching and people will be able to come by and see and get their hands on. Again, if you're interested in any more information on anything, our website's a great resource. We have everything there. And then I think Paul's going to leave my email too if you have any questions so that I can get you taken care of. Again, thanks for having me. Thanks for hosting Klein. And again, if you hope that you will have the opportunity to try this sort of thing out before it launches, sign up for our tradesman club.
That can be done on the website?
Yeah, so it's kleintradesmanclub.com. Maybe you can put it in the
for sure.
information, but all you have to do is sign up, and then you check a little box that says you'd be interested in product testing, and then you'll be good to go. And whenever we're looking for product testers, you'll be in the mix to see.
That's dope. That's cool. Right on. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. It was a short notice. I sent an email last week and you were totally on board. I want to especially thank Mark Rapacki. You mentioned him a few times. Mark's been my contact for a little bit over a year. And I was telling you off air, like he's been over and above. He's gone over and above of what I expected. But these are the companies we like partnering with. Klein Tools has generously sponsored our team of the month, providing the crews that we want to recognize. Klein Tools has been generous with that. We do a Klein Tool giveaway in our newsletter, and Mark has been nothing but generous, and he's always willing to hear my crazy ideas of promotion and stuff like that. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Megan. This is awesome. Any other closing thoughts? Anything else you got? I know you kind of wrapped it up right there, but is there anything else you want to talk about? Did I miss?
Again, stay tuned. We have more to come.
And you're going to be at the International Lineman's Rodeo?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a surprise. We're going to do a giveaway.
I almost forgot. I'm glad you remembered.
Oh, I got it right here. I wanted to save it at the very end. So everyone that's stuck around and heard this amazing story, we're going to give you guys an opportunity to win this awesome stuff, this awesome setup. Megan, Mark, Klein Tools Team have generously gifted us for our giveaway. It's going to be 4 grips and the full bucket work center. I'm going to enter probably a few times. I want to win it. This is a legitimate giveaway. Okay, so how do you get into this giveaway? We're going to post this episode on our Instagram at California Lineworks. Go in the comments and type in Klein Tools, or you can tag at Klein_Tools. Either way, you're going to be entered. You're going to have 7 days from the day the post on Instagram goes live to win that. We're going to pick one randomly. You're going to get this beautiful setup. You're not going to want to miss this. I don't like it. It's really cool. You're going to really enjoy this, this giveaway. Thanks. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you again. 4 grips and a bucket work center. So odds are you can hopefully put in a comment, and maybe get something good.
I'm jealous. I want it. Megan, Klein Tools, you've been great. You killed it. I want to thank our promotional partners, Gelco Safety, Working Athlete, Klein Tools, Co Eyewear, Buckingham Manufacturing, our rodeo partners, Ariat and Dragonwear FR. I recently wore the Dragonwear FR hoodie on Saturday at the rodeo. It was hot, 100 degrees. It has the UPF 50 in there. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was a great shirt to wear. I want to thank the entire Sturgeon Electric California workforce. Without you, this podcast would not be possible. Follow us. You're going to have to follow us to get into this giveaway, this Klein Tools giveaway. Follow us at California Lineworks. We post our 60 seconds of safety. We try to entertain you. We try to educate you as best we can. We want to continue that communication with you guys, the open line. We want to share anything, everything. We're having fun. Like, share, comment. Do that thing you guys do. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me at Power Element Paul. That's it. You can send me some suggestions, whatever you guys want. I'm open for it. All right, that's it. Thank you, Klein Tools. Thanks, Megan.
Thanks, Paul.
You guys have a good one. Take care.